Hi you guys, this is just a quick video on the different expressions we use for times so you can have a look at it at home. Alright, so today is called i-day. Yesterday, i-går. Tomorrow, i-morgen. The day before yesterday, i-forgårs. Little annoying. And the day after tomorrow, i-overmorgen. Alright, i dag, i morgen, i overmorgen, i går, i forgårs. Alright, so this is probably the easier one because this is what you would often use in a conversation. Now, what about when we talk about this morning and the morning that comes in the future and the morning that has already happened in past days? So this morning, today, is called i morges. Note the S here. Yesterday morning would be i går morges. I går morges. And if you want to talk about the morning for the day before yesterday, we have two options. We can either say, for example, if the day before yesterday was a Saturday, i lørdags om morgen, meaning last Saturday in the morning, or for example, i forgårs om morgenen. So the day before yesterday in the morning. All right. If we want to go to the future tense instead, what is tomorrow morning called? So this is a little tricky because, as you can see, tomorrow is already i morgen, and we can't say i morgen morgen because that would sound kind of silly, wouldn't it? So what we usually do is we say i morgen tidlig. Tidlig means early. I morgen tidlig, so tomorrow early, which refers to then tomorrow morning. And if we want to do it for the day after, just like in the past tense, we do i overmorgen, or if we have a Saturday in 2 days, på lørdag om morgenen. So this part would go with either på lørdag or i overmorgen om morgenen. Alright, so far so good. So if I were to speak of tonight instead, so tonight, the night that is coming in a few hours time, for example, we say i aften. If we want to say tomorrow night, we say i morgen aften, just like i morgen tidlig, i morgen aften. If you want to talk about last night, however, we say i aftes, or we can also say i går aftes. But i aftes is already enough. It's sufficient because it's referring to the last past evening. So this is referring a little bit back to, you see there's an S here and there's an S going on here. The S refers to the last past incident of this, the last case of, in this case, evening, or the last case of morning. So while i morges is referring to today, that's because usually when we speak of what happened this morning, the morning has already passed. However, when we speak of what is to happen this evening, usually the evening has not been there yet, or we are in the evening, but it has not passed yet. Rarely do we speak of what happened this evening after it has passed, but still being today, because at that time you would be asleep. So this is the reason that the S is not in this lane, but over here instead, or in this column. If you want to speak of what happened in the evening for the day before yesterday, it is the same as with the morning. I lørdags om aftenen, or i forgårs om aftenen. Also for what is going to happen the day after tomorrow, it's the same thing. I overmorgen om aftenen. There we are. Og på lørdag om aftenen. All right. One last thing is just to look at the verbs for what was the present tense, what was the past, what was the future. So the present tense is, for example, for running. I might write it with small. Jeg løber. So jeg løber is the present tense of running. Not to trip you up, but I'm going to move it over here. But remember, it's actually supposed to go in this column. It's just because we have a few past tenses. We have one future tense. Jeg vil or skal. We can choose between these two modal verbs to create future tense. Løbe. And then we use the verb in the infinitive. If we do the past tense, we have 3 different past tense. We have one called before present tense, før nutid. That one would be jeg har løbet. Then we got the regular past tense, jeg løb. And we got the before past tense, før datid, jeg havde løbet. Alright, so just remember that this one, jeg løber, actually goes together with these 3 because it's a present tense. So what happens now? And these are the past tenses. This is the future. Alright, one other option is if we speak of, for example, Saturday morning or Saturday evening. Lørdag morgen, lørdag aften. This in itself does not mention whether this was the past Saturday morning or the future next coming Saturday morning. Lørdag morgen could be a term, it just means Saturday morning. And it's the same in English. Saturday morning, we don't know if it was last Saturday morning I did something or next Saturday morning I will do something. And the way we then tell whether it's past or future is of course by using either past tense for our verbs or using the future tense for our verbs. So, lørdag morgen løb jeg. Saturday morning I ran. Lørdag morgen vil jeg løbe. Saturday morning I will run, so therefore it's in the future. The same goes for the evening. Last little thing. Om morgenen means in the morning. Every morning. In the morning I do this. Om morgenen spiser jeg morgenmad. In the morning I eat breakfast. Om lørdagen means on Saturdays. So this is referring, the refers to a repetitive, happens every morning or every Saturday. And just notice that lørdagen here is actually the definite tense on the Saturday. Whereas in English we would refer to it as in a plural sense, on Saturdays. But it means it is the equivalent or the correct translation. And then another one, sometimes you will notice that, for example, if you have to go between songs and you can play the last one or the next one we'll call næste, the last one we'll call sidste, and sometimes you will have this word called forrige. Forrige is a little bit, there's a battle going on whether to use it for the same word as sidste, so the last one, or it actually refers to something that happens before the last one. So, for example, if I said, næste uge skal jeg løbe. Next week I am running. Sidste uge løb jeg. Last week I ran. Forrige uge løb jeg means the week before last week I ran. Some people will say yes, some people will say it means the same as sister. And finally, uge 8 or uge 2 means week 8 or week 20. Those are names of the weeks, and we use that very much in Denmark. And the reason is that usually when you apply for holiday for your job or when the kids are off school, it is always by a specific number of weeks. So it's a week that's called that number. And of course we start with week 1 is the very first week in January. Week 2 will be the next, week 3, etc. So for example, the winter holidays for children in school would usually always be on week 7. Certain areas or regions in Denmark do week 8. And the same goes for the autumn holiday. It will always be week 42. And when you ask for vacation on your job, very common, oh, we will go on vacation week 26 and week 27 this year. So just notice that this will refer to a specific week number, and thereby mean not so that it will of course be a range of dates, but the week number and range of dates are not the same every year. Just because the first week of January might start on a Thursday, and then week 1 will be shorter. And also, for example, with every 4th year we have February 29th. That's going to mess it up as well a little bit. All right. Om 8 uger, om 20 uger means in 8 weeks time, in 20 weeks time, this and this will happen. Om 8 uger skal jeg på ferie. In 8 weeks time, I'm going on vacation. And this here is just for referring to the years. So det 20. århundrede is the 20th century. Notice that we always do ordinal numbers by putting a full stop behind the number. We do not do th or st's. And then the next here is not with a capital. Det 20. århundrede, the 20th century. Et århundrede is the singular, flere århundreder, several centuries, the plural. Et årtusinde, flere årtusinder. So those are of course for millennials or thousands of years. 1900-tallet. 1900-tallet is the 1900s. So instead of talking of century, we could talk of the 1900s. 1900-tallet. 1920. Remember, when we do the years, we do it in these double digits together. So we say 1920. We can either say 1920 or 1920. We got 1920 or 1920. 1920, 1920. Both are correct. This one is referring to the 20s. 1920'erne. 1920'erne. So again, it's optional to say hundreds in between, but this is how we say 20'erne, and this is how we write it. Or referring just to the 20s, of course that would refer to the same years, this 1920'erne, because we will refer to the last 20s that happened and not the 1820s. 20'erne. And just to mention it, the double zeros or the nils is called nullerne in Danish. Nullerne. Alright, that was all for the different time expressions. I hope this was helpful to do a little recap on your own. Thank you for listening, and hope you enjoyed.